What's up, YouTube fans? Today we're going to take a look at the Transformers Studio Series 86 Ultra Magnus. So this is the next Commander class figure that we've gotten. I like to take a look at all the Commander class ones just because they're just a step above the retail line. And this guy, Ultra Magnus, is a figure I'm definitely interested in. So here we are taking a look at this. Now, out of box, I mentioned that you do have to install the ears. I actually said that it doesn't matter. They're not size specific, but they actually are size specific. So on the inside of the ear, if you take one off, you'll see there's a tiny little letter. It says R or L right here. So that's how you know which side. So it is side specific. Make sure you put the right side on the right side. But once you get those ears on, you can get these missiles on. And now he's ready for some action. Looks really good. Let's point out some of the paint. You got this pearlescent white paint on the face. Really nice looking head sculpt, by the way. You have translucent blue eyes with some light piping back here. Not a huge fan of light piping anymore, but they did do that here. Red paint here on the chest. A little bit of white paint here on the upper knee or shin. About tempo there, and that's really it about paint. I mean, it actually does look very good, but it's just due to the plastic colors they chose very wisely. The red, white, and blue all looks good. Let's take a look at the articulation. The head is on a rotating joint here, so the neck rotates up and down, so you get some way down, way up. You also get the head on a ball joint, so you get side to side. You get a rotation, so plenty of movement on that head. Shoulders rotate around on a ratchet joint, all the way around. Out to the side, it's on a pin on friction. I don't know why they chose to do it like this. Both of mine are like that. And you can't tighten it. I have no way to tighten that pin, so really a poor choice there. We do get a butterfly joint. If you open up this little peg right here, that'll allow you to take this panel and flip it out. So you get this butterfly, which is kind of neat because you can get his arms out to do various poses like holding the matrix or whatever other poses you want to do. Swing down the elbow, you have a rotation at the bicep, 90-degree elbow bend. You have a rotation at the wrist, individually articulated pointer finger, and then the other three fingers are together. But first time I've ever seen a Commander class with an individually articulated finger on two pins for the pointer finger, and then the other fingers are also on two pins. So you can pose these hands, you can, point if he needs to. So yeah, I'm a fan. I'm a fan of the way they did that. You have a waist rotation here, all the way around. Just friction. There's no ab crunch on this guy. Yeah, no ab crunch on this guy. But you do have hip skirts that will move out of the way. This front hip skirt, you don't have to move it until the leg gets that high, and it's not too ugly. So I don't mind that single hip skirt. Back to there's a back flap, but it does move out of the way and stay upwards. Out to the side, you just gotta hold the arm up, but it does get out to the side and holds. Rotation of the thigh around a mushroom peg. You have double jointed knee, but just due to the sculpt, you only get 90 degrees. We're gonna use the second joint for transformation a little bit later. Ankle tilt gets you up to there. No forward and backward, but you do get ankle tilt. As far as accessories, you do have these guns here, which of course, just like any other Transformers figure, you can move these around on the 5mm pegs. You can unpeg the missile here, and you can use blast effects. So you get these really nice. They should definitely do this more. Smoked gradient blast effects. They're really, really nice looking. And what you can do with this is get these in here, and then you can have the missile popping out, so it looks like he's firing them off. Or you could, keep going with it. You could have more, but it really does look like it's firing off. You can do that on both sides. Really cool. I really think that's a nice touch. And you do get quite a few pieces here. So if you wanted, you could do that. But I think that's a nice touch on these weapons. You also get his blaster here done in a pearlescent purple and white handle. really nicely sculpted. That will fit into his hand here, and that looks good. You get a second gun, sculpted differently, and I think this also looks really good. And that'll fit in his hand as well. And of course, you can use the blast effects with these, and they fit nice and tight. There has been an issue in the past where these blast effects don't fit or they fall off. These are toleranced perfectly. I do wish his arms would stay up, but the blast effects work very, very well with those guns. The guns will also store, so if you want to store them in vehicle mode or robot mode, you can. Come to the back here. The tabs are specific, so the bigger tab here will fit right here on his butt flap. So just get that pegged in there, like that. And then this smaller gun has a tab that'll fit right here. And you can put it however you want, but I'm just going to put it like this. And now he has storage for his guns. I just think that's really cool. We also have the hidden accessory, of course, the matrix. So if you lift up on this, it is spring loaded, so just know the doors are going to spring open like that. It is painted in here. There's lots of painted detail. Dark blue, light blue, purple. It looks really good. And then if you take out the matrix, I recommend a spudger just because it's hard to get it popped up. You know, it's a nice tight fit. I'd rather it be a tight fit than a loose fit, by the way. Here's the matrix. You get that copper with silver handle and then translucent blue for the jewel. And thankfully, they did sculpt the hands with pointer fingers. So if you want him to be able to try to hold it open, you can, because you can fit his finger through here. But it is very small. So it might be a challenge to pose it. But like I mentioned earlier, you can use those butterfly joints to get him to bring his arms together. And then you can have this being held between the two pointer fingers of the two arms. So you can have that effect. And for a quick size comparison, there it is next to the Earthrise Optimus Prime. Nice, tall bot. This is what I expect for Commander class. You know, should be much bigger than Voyager scale. And, you know, this one doesn't disappoint. I like the scale here. All right, now let's get Ultra Magnus transformed into his vehicle mode. And we're going to start with the upper body here. I think in the instructions they start with the arms, but it just makes more sense. So they're not flopping in your way. Go ahead and take off these missiles and just set those aside for now. And I do want to mention there are some parts that have stress marks, and even after the first transformation that happened. So I'll point them out as we go, but just know that you will possibly get some stress marks. But go ahead and open up these red hinges here. Just put those straight up. You can unpeg the arms from the sides. And we're going to take this front chest piece here, open up these red or blue pieces, lift this up over the head, just tilt the head back just a little bit so that'll clear over the top of the head. Come to the back. We'll take care of all of this. Open up these white pieces here. Those are going to just accordion down and just leave those open like that. Lift up here. This is on a friction fit peg. It's meant to come off in vehicle mode. It might come off as I'm transforming. If it does, I'll just continue the transformation separated. But I'm going to try to do it together. You can go ahead and open up this panel here. This is going to come down, and there's two tabs on the bottom of the blue piece are fitting into the red. So use the double hinge, get that down and into position, and then tabbed in on the red piece. And if you don't feel it like going in, then you didn't get it. All right, and that came separate, so I'm just going to continue the transformation separately. All right, so make those two blue pieces go in. Bring this up. I'm going to bring this head down into this cavity. So make sure you open up this panel. That makes its way down as you flatten out that panel. So on this side, we're going to bring this panel out and straighten out the glass. While you're here, you might as well stick your finger in here and put the wheels down. And then we can tab this into the sides of the cab like that, and then you can tab the front on. Open up the smokestacks, open up these wheels. The face is actually going to tab in to this red piece. So line up the face, and then that's going to fit just right over the top of the chin. And it should fit nice and flat like that. All right, so that's the cab done. I'm just going to set it aside since it did come off. This one tends to come off pretty easily. But we'll continue the rest. Go ahead and you're going to take these legs, rotate down 90 degrees on these nice tight ratchet joints. You can take these and we're going to rotate the knees. So you got to rotate a lower joint and then rotate on the upper joint. So you're basically making an L shape out of that, so it does tab in down here. I'll show you again. Rotate on the lower joint and rotate back up on the upper joint. So now your knees are like down inside at an L. Go ahead and tab these together right here. And we're starting to take shape. And we can come to the inside here, open up these two. We're going to take this, rotate this red panel here. We're going to, this already went in on its own, but we're going to insert this piece right here in, fold this in, bring this up, and then these are going to close down and tab in right here. Same on this side, tab it in right there. And now we can take care of the arms. So go ahead and accordion all this out so it's basically straight. We can lift back on this panel here, straighten up the arm. Come to the end here, we're going to open this up. This is going to accordion down very similar to the masterpiece right there, this whole arm section. Fold that down. This is going to rotate around on this ratchet joint, so it brings all the way to the other side. This is going to come up, tab into here. And then this is going to come up and tab into here. It's a subtle tab, but it does go in. All right, so you can leave this down for now. Now we'll take the other one, do the exact same thing. Before we tab those together, we're going to open up these panels here. And I mentioned earlier there's some stress marks. This is one of the areas where there's stress marks. So you can see right here on these joints, there's a little bit of stress joints here and here. So you want to be careful with those, but they're supposed to fold over and then tab into this side. Right? Now that we have that, we can tab those together. And then we're going to take the back of the arms and tab those together. Just like that. Come to here, lift up on this peg, slide it forward. Right, same on this side, lift up on this peg, slide it forward. The two arms are going to peg in to those two pieces. So you have that. Go ahead and open up that piece there and open up this piece here. Again, very similar to the masterpiece. These two pieces here are going to peg in and lock that arm. So don't forget those little white pieces there. And what happened here? This came off the mushroom peg. There we go. That was that hadn't happened before. But. All right, and now you've got the trailer pretty much together. And so now we're going to take this and plug this back into here. And with one finishing touch here, we're going to open this up, flip open this panel, bring this down. That's going to tab in the front. Get the tab in right there. Same on this one. Open this up, flip this over, bring this down, tab it into the front. For the wheels, we're going to bring these down on a hinge, double hinge. So it should hinge down and then tab in down here, like that. Same on this side. Bring this up. You can see the tabs in there. Bring this down and tab that in to the bottom spot. And last but not least, you're going to take these, peg these into the sides. And this is another spot where I see a little bit of stress marking. All right, and there's Ultra Magnus in his vehicle mode. And I think it looks quite nice. They did a good job on the overall sculpt and detail. It does roll on these wheels. You do have black Plastic for the tires, silver for the rims. This one tends to come off, so if you want it to stay on a little bit better, you can push it back like this. If you pull it out like this, then you can rotate it, but then it tends to come off more easily. So just be aware of that. But you can turn and rotate. Of course, you can still rotate these missiles. You can remove this, use the blast effect, just like you could in robot mode. So that's really nice. You can also come to the back here, open up these ramps, and you can of course drive a vehicle on here, and they can sit and be stored and driven around. You can also bring down this top piece. You had a little more work, but you unpeg those. Bring this down on the ratchet joint there, and then you can pretend to, actually I'm wondering if, oh yeah, I guess you could do it that way too. You could bring this down like that instead of bringing it down on the ratchet joint, and then pretend to drive it up there and store a car up here. I don't know, but it is nice. You can actually put a car in here. And you can of course store the weapons here. So on the side here you've got a little tab. Now they show it backwards like this. I think it makes a lot more sense to have it forwards. You can use it actual gun. I'm not sure why you'd store it backwards, but you can do that. And then of course these become weapons and he can be firing. And for quick size comparison, there is next to the Rise of the Beast Optimus Prime, just because I have him in vehicle mode. And the truck cab is similar in size. And then the trailer, kind of makes sense. So yeah, good scale in the vehicle mode. I think it's cool that they made a nice big robot that comes down to this size and scales well with the retail line. So final recommendations on the Transformers Studio Series 86 Ultra Magnus. I'm going to give this a 4 to 5. I'm going to recommend it. I think it's a pretty good version of Ultra Magnus. It looks really good in robot mode and vehicle mode. And the transformation is pretty fun. There's a couple steps that even emulate what we see with the Masterpiece version. So it's got some good engineering. I love the accessories. I think they did a great job giving you 2 guns and blast effects and more blast effects. And I like the overall, what you're getting here. Lots of versatility with display here. What I don't like though is the stress marks that we're seeing in robot mode and in vehicle mode. There's a couple little pieces here and there. Now it's not breaking, but I would imagine over time those stress marks are going to lead to an issue. And that's just strange. For Hasbro typically doesn't have that kind of issue. And especially with the Commander class where things are big and thick and chunky, I wouldn't expect to see that kind of stuff, but definitely have more than one area of stress marks. The other thing is, in this pose, I actually wanted to have the arms like this on both sides, but I couldn't do it because you got these loose pins, which I can't even tighten. There's no way to tighten those. That seems like a rookie error on Hasbro's part. I don't know why they chose a pin joint for that. But other than that, I think it's pretty cool. If you're looking for Ultra Magnus in the retail line, I think this is definitely the best Ultra Magnus we've ever gotten, with exception to the Masterpiece version. So that's it for today. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.